But first, 3 minutes, 2 lives, 1 decision. A brief high-speed chase on I-90 overnight ended in a violent, fiery crash that killed 2 people.
The chase, which involved Ohio State Highway Patrol, happened on I-90 in Euclid around midnight. And that's where we find News 5's Jordan Vandenberg right now, who joins us live with more.
Ohio State troopers say the suspect was already driving recklessly on I-90, and then he made a fateful decision to make a U-turn near the Euclid Avenue exit. Just seconds later, it turned into a deadly decision. Just 2 minutes and 40 seconds, 160 ticks of the clock is all it took to go from traffic stop to traffic fatality. And a state trooper's dash cam documented everything.
The vehicle was coming up behind him, and he slowed down to allow that vehicle to pass to initiate a traffic stop. The vehicle did not stop and led the trooper on a brief chase.
The traffic stop for reckless driving spawned a short but high-speed chase that eclipsed 90 miles an hour, state troopers say. Dash camera video shows the driver, 28-year-old Vernon Hayes Jr., weaving through the sparse traffic. Court records show Hayes was on probation at the time. Then, about 2 minutes after the chase had started, Hayes stops, makes a U-turn, and then begins heading the wrong way.
It's shocking because you're trying to stop this individual, and then they almost do the unthinkable by doing a U-turn and going the wrong way to try to elude you. And at that point, you're just trying to prevent something bad before it happens.
Officials say the pursuing trooper kept his lights and sirens going, following Hayes to warn oncoming drivers. But roughly 20 seconds after making the U-turn, Hayes swerved directly into the path of 41-year-old Janelle Smith.
We're only going to pursue when there's a danger to the public, right? This driver was already endangering the public and himself prior to this pursuit by the way he was driving. At that point he made that U-turn. The only thing that we could do is try to prevent a tragedy from occurring, and that's exactly what our trooper tried to do.
Despite the trooper's best efforts, Smith died at the scene. With the help of bystanders and a fire extinguisher,
we got to get him out. We have to get him out.
The trooper tried to get Hayes out of his burning, mangled Pontiac.
We got to get him out of here. Help me get him out of here. We have to help.
He, too, died at the hospital. And state troopers say his death, and certainly Janelle Smith's death, could have been avoided.
We don't know what kind of problems, what kind of situation Mr. Hayes was in at that time, but we do know this: if he would have stopped, we could have dealt with it at that point before this occurred.
And Lieutenant Sellers says the crash remains under investigation. Reporting live in Euclid tonight, Jordan Vandenberg, News 5.
Thank you, Jordan. Unbelievable. And so is this because you were right there.
Yeah, I actually witnessed what happened last night after the 11 o'clock news. I go home that way. I saw the man driving erratically. I said, wow, they're going to get him. He's, for speeding. I see the state trooper before he even put his lights on. The guy was driving erratically, pretending like he was going off on the exit. Then he would go over the median again and get back on the highway. And then the trooper put his lights on. Yeah. He went off like he was going off on another exit, got back on. I'm behind them the whole time. A good space behind him, but I can see. And as, 90 and 2, the split, I said, oh, they're going the same way that I go home.
Right.
And so I see them up ahead of me by the Euclid, right past that Euclid exit. And I saw the guy when he did the U-turn.
The U-turn.
I'm driving. I see the U-turn ahead of me. This guy's coming this way towards me. I get over on the side. I better pull over and stop.
Right.
And just like 20 seconds behind me, that's when he hits.
That much difference in time.
That much difference in time. I'm telling you, it kind of hit me this morning. And Mark Johnson called me last night. He and I both go home the same way. And I didn't know that the car had erupted in flames and he hit someone else. But literally, the man was driving, like a crazy man. And it was just something to witness, but terrifying at the same time when you see a car coming at you doing a U-turn on a highway. And obviously it was almost like he had a death wish because it's not many cars on the highway. And I felt that if he wanted to probably miss that person, that Kia, he probably could have. So something obviously was going through his mind, but really, really scary last night. And I'm just thankful and grateful that I'm still here.
And so are we. Terrifying, the only way to sum it up.
The only way to say it. Thank you, Frank.